Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Joey Galvez, one half of your host of Explain Yourself, and I want to let you guys know about a really cool book from our friend of the show, Eli Shockey. This one is called The Greylock, and it's a story where magic is a commodity. Potions are sold at corner stores. Orcs and dwarves earn a living in cubicles, not on the battlefields. But there are those who resist the house's magic's laws. Branded a criminal and forced to live as a wand for hire, there is a spell slinger they call the Greylock. Check this one out. You guys can pre-order issue 3 right now with code JAN241939, and make sure you guys are heading over to your favorite LCS and letting them know that you want Greylock number 3, and maybe pick up the first 2 issues. You could do that at the Scout web store. So make sure you guys are grabbing the Greylock number 3, JAN241939 at previewsworld.com.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Mike Lee Collin II, and with me, as always, is
Sesame, Sermon, and Carta.
Sermon. I like that. I think if I have a child, I'll name them Sermon.
Don't.
Okay.
Don't. Yeah, they'll get bullied like all the time.
Well, I'll teach them to be able to deliver good messages, and
you can be a mail carrier then. At that point. Well,
Yeah.
not all those messages are good though either. So.
Yeah, that's true, because a lot of them are bills
and like
yeah,
you've been served and stuff like that.
eviction notices and
yeah, not always a good message.
Yeah, Dear John letters, Dear John, I'm sorry, but it's not working out, and
The people you would still do that, and probably now it's just like a text message or like an emoji or something like that, or like
it's just a frowny emoji. It's like,
like sorry, I think we're done now.
it just says relationship frowny emoji, and that's how you break up with somebody, I guess.
That's how people break up now. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then like a Dumb and Dumber when he's like, she wrote me a John Deere letter.
Well, I thought of something. So I saw something for sale today, and I was realizing something. Okay, they sell like urine to like at like sporting goods stores and stuff to like warn off animals and things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody had Red Fox urine up there, and I was thinking like if it was the comedian Red Fox and it was his urine,
Whoa.
Maybe it would just warn off other predatory comedians or something. I don't know what it would do. I'm just, if you guys have any suggestions as to what it could do, let me know, because
When you said that, like I literally, like that's actually literally the first thing I saw too. Is like, wait, why do they have Red Foxes? Like, what the hell?
Before Red Fox died, they had him fill up a bunch of,
I mean, I guess I'm saying like he died like what, like 40-something years ago?
No,
or...
it was like he died in like the 90s, but still,
Okay.
it was still like 30 years ago. But
30 years of urine saved up. like what the hell?
Yeah. Whenever he was on a break from the last sitcom he was in, they would be like, "Hey, Red, we need you to pee in this bottle over here, okay?"
Red did not pee inside of a toilet for 30 years.
Yes.
He just did it cups and then saved them up and then
they just sent him over to Bass Pro Shop or something,
Apparently. I don't know what the hell.
So anyways, today on the show, speaking of sitcoms, we are covering A great sitcom.
Mm, uh,
Sarcasm. Anyway, so covering the pilot for the short-lived. It was like 1 season plus 3 episodes, so technically 2 seasons. Show called Soul Man, a television series that ran from 1997 till 1998 on the American Broadcasting Company network. Yes, ABC.
oh, ABC. Okay.
Yeah. It was loosely or kind of like directly connected to Home Improvement, where they would have characters from each show's like crossing over from one show to the other from time to time. They both took place in Detroit. So,
Like
yeah, it was part.
Arrowverse before the Arrowverse.
Yes, it was the
Aykroydverse.
yeah, the Alan Aykroyd verse, and
Yeah.
or as I like to call it, the Dick verse.
The Dick verse. Wow.
Well, because Tim Allen's real last name is Dick, and
Oh,
yeah,
his name was Tim Dick.
his name is Tim Allen Dick.
Okay.
Yes, his middle name is Allen.
Cool.
Yeah, much like your middle name,
Yeah.
Sesame, Allen, and Carta, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So okay, before we get into any more details about this show, initial thoughts here.
At first, I kind of liked it the first time, and then I watched it again a couple days later, and I didn't like it that much. I wasn't thrilled.
Yeah. I thought it was okay the first time I watched it. And then I attempted to watch it a second time, and I could only make it about 5 minutes in.
Yeah,
And
it
I
took
was
me
like,
a lot of discipline to.
this, I can't pay attention to this bullshit right now. So,
Yeah.
yeah. Love Dan Aykroyd, don't get me wrong. Probably one of
Well,
the greatest comedic actors of all time.
yeah, it's totally not put to use in this, at
Yeah.
least the pilot. I mean, I haven't watched the rest of the show episodes, but
From the reviews I've read,
I mean, it lasted a whole season at least. I mean,
yeah,
so
but it didn't get much better after that, I guess.
okay.
Yeah. It had good ratings, is what it was. It wasn't the writing that was keeping it afloat, you know? It wasn't, like, critically acclaimed. It was more, people watched it, or people just forgot to turn their TVs off after Home Improvement.
Probably is what it
Yeah.
was. Yeah. Oh, remember that guy from well, not Ghostbusters, because at that point the kids
Yeah.
probably would have been in bed, so they would have been thinking of like SNL or something like that, that he was in.
Or they'd be
They're
like, you remember that guy from Nothing But Trouble? Oh, wait, what? That's another failed Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, what's the Great Outdoors or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably just didn't turn the TV off. The kids went to bed after Home Improvement because they had to watch that stupid ass show, and then with
I'll give you. I mean, it's a bland sitcom, Home Improvement, but it's 1,000 times better than this.
I mean, yeah, but that's like saying a piece of shit is better than lava or whatever.
Yeah, and I will admit that I liked Home Improvement when it was on the air. So
I may have, but I think I just have bad memories of it because it meant that I had to go to school the next day or something like that.
Yeah,
so
probably.
But I don't know. It just felt like too rushed for one thing, and like just the way that like characters interacted with each other just felt like super unnatural to me, and I don't know. Like that's just my initial reaction.
I mean, it's your stereotypical 90s sitcom in a lot of ways, but not a good one, So yeah. That's basically what Soul Man was.
It lacked a soul.
Yes. It lacked a soul, man. And
yeah.
Yes. Um, you know what? Maybe they should have sprinkled some of Red Fox's urine all over the set, and
Liven things up a little bit, you
yeah,
know.
because that's what you do.
Get some more comedy urine going
Yeah,
on. I don't know.
that's my goal in life from now on. I'm going to
But
find famous stand-up comics and collect their urine.
whoa.
Wait, what?
What?
Even Tim
Pretty
Allen,
sure.
you know, I get Tim Allen to pull out his dick. Oh God, oh God,
I
what did I just say? Anyway,
think
so how about them Mud Hens and other
I think
baseball
that's gonna get
teams?
you some jail time and
Yeah,
or a fine.
uh, it may. So, let's jump into this episode here. What happened?
Almost nothing. I mean, that's the whole point. Like, so we're supposed to like given this image that like he's a single dad and he's a pastor at some church. They didn't really say what kind of church it was, if it was Catholic or whatever. Who knows? Don't care. And then
Yeah,
and then he's trying to kind of like maintain a balance between being like a cool dad who understands, but like also he's like a religious man of God.
yeah.
So he's
He's a
like,
widower.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's a widower. And then he's, and of course, this is 1997, so there's cassette tapes, and then there's a journalist from like one of the, I don't know, one of the main Detroit newspapers
yeah,
who wants to do a story on him. So he's getting like a bunch of his like sermons for her to listen to, and he's got like greatest hits and best of and all this kind of stuff, and which sounds pretty boring to me. I'm like, oh my god, like is she gonna have to go through all of these tapes just to like I mean, I guess a pastor would think that would be a fun thing to do, but like anyone who's not a pastor, or at least who like has a life, wouldn't be like, awesome, I can't wait to listen to these sermons on cassette tape. Woo! And anyway, so then like we get the whole
like what I do is I get good sermons and other, and then like my regular music and stand up comedy and all those tapes and everything, and I put them in this like 50 cassette changer.
oh
Then I
god,
just let them play at random, so you get like Dave Matthews followed by Chris Rock followed by a preacher.
by a servant, by a servant.
Yeah,
So then we get the whole like stereotypical like the young daughter whose mental maturity is like 18 years above her actual age for some reason. I don't know why people thought that was like a cute thing back in the day to do, where it's like, oh, you get it, she's like 7 years old, but she's talking like she's like 25 and like a psychologist, and she knows more about relationships than her own father does, type of thing. It's like, really? Because she's like a fucking kid
yeah.
and the grown ass adult, and he's the one who made her. So shut the fuck up, like, and go drink some punch or something. I don't know, but like, so they got that whole thing where she's like, "Oh, you don't want to be lonely and desperate forever, do you?" Saying this right in front of some random woman, which
Yeah.
again, that's another '90s stereotype. Oh, a woman who has a job, and part of her job requires her to work alongside a man, so automatically that must mean that they're gonna be together, right? Like,
I've dated every woman I've ever worked with. I don't know about you. Oh wait, no, I
I
haven't.
mean, well, that
I
seems to
know.
be like,
It's just like, what the fuck?
well, no, that seems to be like what they're going for
I
a lot
know.
of these. Like, oh, a woman just can't have a job. Like,
No.
it's got to her being romantically involved with some rando person that she not even works with,
The
because it's not even a coworker. It's just like a
the interesting thing too is they're setting her up as like the main love interest in this episode, but she does not appear in a single other episode of the show.
well, that's hilarious. Then
Yeah.
wonder if she just decided to quit right after that. And then it's just like, oh,
I mean, her
okay,
character just doesn't appear. I mean, it's like I don't even. I haven't seen the other episodes. I'm assuming maybe he goes through dating a couple other women or something throughout the run of the show or something, or at least
That's
one other.
th-
I don't know.
that's really stupid then, because
Yeah.
that was the had going for it was
Mm-hmm.
this dumb plot. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
so he, oh god, like just so cringe. Like, so she starts like grilling him about like stuff, and then he's like trying to like sound cool by being like nonchalant, I guess, and that's like
Yeah.
his way of disarming her. But it just looks so cringe to watch, because at one point he talks about how they have like church dances, and then she's like, "Oh, like a church dance, like that must sound really exciting or whatever." And then he's like, "Oh yeah, we've been known to boogie." Or I don't even know. I don't even remember. This is what we call the Mary Magdalene, or I don't even know what it was. And then
Yeah. Some bad
I was
joke.
like stupid like 1970s disco style dancing, but like really really badly. Which I understand that was the point, but like they jumped over the point, and it made it
It
not funny
it
and
fell
just
flat.
yeah
Yeah, and
yeah
there's this running thing too in the episode where he collects snow globes of memorials or gravestones of dead musicians.
yeah. That was a weird subplot. What?
Yeah.
Like what? Like that's like something like a serial killer would do. Maybe that's why she didn't show up any other.
Yeah.
Maybe he killed her at the end of it and buried her in the backyard or something. I mean, like,
Mm.
because
And then put a
like,
headstone there so he can make a snow globe out of it.
yeah, I mean, just
Yeah.
to me, that's like something like, I mean, like when I heard that, I was like, okay, I kind of get they're trying to
Mm.
go for like something weird and funny here, but again, it just does not
And
work.
my thing is this: is this a thing? I mean, I can maybe understand doing it for like Elvis or something, but are people going around like making snow globes of, oh, here's a Buddy Guy snow globe and tombstone snow globe, or here's a BB King, whatever, whoever we want to, say
Hey,
of dead musicians. I'm just like, is this an industry?
I mean, I mean, probably pretty much everything's a thing. So probably, yeah, there probably is a market. I don't know how big of a market it will be, but there probably is something that people. I mean, people collect freaking shrunken heads. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
creepy. Like it's like
yeah, but I mean, the thing with commerce though is there's a supply and demand though. I mean, how much of a demand is there for a Jimi Hendrix headstone
snow
snow
globe.
globe? You know what I mean? I'm
Probably
just
not much,
yeah,
but at the same token, though, you're also not spending much money to create it as well. So
yeah,
so not making much money, but you're not spending much money on your business as well. So you're pretty much coming out a
yeah,
wash, very least, because maybe it's just a passion to you. Maybe you're like, well, it'd be nice if I made some money off this, but like at least I made my Jimi Hendrix grave site snow globe to sell to a pastor in Detroit, Michigan,
yeah.
who's simultaneously trying to flirt with a journalist that he literally just met 5 minutes ago, but then at the same time telling his daughter not to embarrass him about doing that, but then straight away goes into that behavior anyway. So
And
okay, and then
embarrasses himself. Um,
embarrass him.
and
So,
but with the snow globe here, we've got um the issue where one of them is found on the floor, broken. You
yep,
know, so what was it, the Elvis one?
yeah, it was the Elvis one that got
Yeah.
smashed. Or
So he has to line up his kids and figure out which one of them did it by the reaction on their face or something.
yep, he got to do a lineup.
And it was like the 11-year-old son named Andy, played by Brendan Ryan Barrett. This was the time when like not all, but a large majority of young male child actors had to have three names.
Yeah,
I mean, on Home Improvement, you had Zachary Ty Bryan
yeah.
and and Jonathan Taylor Thomas and whatever the other kid's name is. It's just Noah something or other. But yeah, so it was like, yeah, I saw it. There's a thing that makes fun of this with that people should look up on. Letterman does an opening sequence to a fictional sitcom called The Lettermans, and there's all these kids, like dozens
Yeah.
of kids that are supposedly all his kids, and
Wow.
it starts out where, and one of the kids in the thing is actually um Frankie Muniz from Malcolm in the Middle. So the but they all have three names, all the actors.
Mhm.
It's just funny, and it's like all these kids, like it ends up being like like all these kids are sitting in this living room, like all around him, and then they have a butler played by Tony Randall. It's pretty funny. I just described the whole thing though, so I probably just ruined the whole joke. But the but yeah, I remember that at that time though, where like all these kids, like it's like, hey, we all got to have our middle name as part of our stage name. There was like some actresses too, because you had like Tiffany Amber Thiessen and stuff like that too, like where it was just like,
Yeah.
oh God, I
Nine.
love the '90s.
Yeah, 90s were an interesting time.
So what else happens here in this episode?
Shit. So, yeah, he lines him up, and then he decides that it's his 11-year-old son, like you said. That he thinks he wants him to confess, but he's pretty sure that's him. And then he won't confess, and so we got that whole side plot going on where he wants to go to the movies and wants $10 again, $10 in 1997 to go to the movies. What?
Yeah.
I guess maybe he wanted to buy snacks too, because right now you can get a ticket for about $11, and that's like 25 years later. So like
Yeah.
what the hell does this kid want? Does he want to buy like 8 hot dogs or nachos or whatever? Anyway, so he pretty much won't give it to him unless he tells him the truth. So we got that whole thing going on, and then the oldest son is supposed to be lazy, so that's like a whole thing where he's always eating cereal for some reason, like in multiple times a day. Like, okay, and
Well,
then
the 11-year-old also ate cereal too at the beginning, and then sopped up
oh
the milk with his mouth like a
oh yeah, that was another weird thing too. Like,
yeah.
oh, let's make this like he can't like he can't take control of his children. So he's another dumb joke. He's like, that's good. Now go underneath the couch and there's some fuzz balls down there. I'm like, that's kind of weird and ugh, like okay.
Yeah.
Again, like they didn't know how to make this funny. Like they just tried, but
Yeah,
just
I
everything
know.
like there's no oversight. Like nobody like was like, hey, this is like a stupid joke or a stupid concept. Like
Well,
no,
you throw a laugh track on it, and it's supposedly funny, I
yeah,
guess.
well, apparently, I mean, it's just like it kind of reminds me of like the Big Bang Theory thing, where someone would just like use like a vacuum cleaner sound every time there's supposed to be laughter, and
Yeah.
then you could just like realize how terrible the humor was. But so it's like someone should do. I mean, I don't know why you would waste your time, but someone should do this where they just like take out the
Yeah.
laughter, and then anyway, so so that subplot's going on, and then the main thing though is that when they were having this conversation, when Dan Aykroyd's character was like trying to like basically do like a mating ritual with this journalist that just was awkward and cringe to watch, and then so she got him to like open up about like talking about like sexuality and stuff like that, like ooh, so taboo, a religious leader talks about sex. Oh my god, there's the horror. And then so she made the whole article about that conversation instead of all the million sermon tapes that he gave her. Which I understand, because like you're working on multiple stories, you don't have time to listen to like 48 hours of sermons. So plus who wants to, I mean, I guess if you're just super religious and you like listening to sermons, but
Yeah.
to be a boring life, but whatever. And then so then like his his like superior, whoever, shows up like the next morning.
Yeah,
And
Bishop
like,
Peter Jerome, played by uh, Dakin Matthews.
okay, yeah, he looked familiar.
He's been in a lot of things.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
so yeah, he's been in a bunch. So he comes in, he's like, "Have you read the paper today?" And he's like, "Oh, I was just about to." And he starts reading off all of the like, sensational quotes, or salacious, if you will, if you want to use, big words like, I got big words. I got a big brain.
Do you
I know the best words. I don't know. Sorry, it's bad Trump impersonation. But
big
anyway,
words?
so what's that?
Big words.
I got big words, the best words. No, so so then Dan Aykroyd's character is like feels betrayed, like that's not what we talked about, or blah 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 or whatever. And then like there's this whole joke where it's like my wife was outraged or whatever, and then Dan Aykroyd's like, oh my god, was she offended? And he's like, no, she asked me where my urges went or whatever. It's like, oh, you get it, because he's an old man and he doesn't want to screw anymore. It's funny, get it? Yeah, I get it. It's stupid, but okay. And then he calls the office, and then like the person who picked up the phone, I guess, like offered to have like a threesome with him. So that was like a weird adult humor kind of thrown in there. And he's like, no, like I'm, I'm sure you and your sister are very nice though, or whatever. I don't know, or something like that.
Yeah.
Weird, because like, why? Like, what office does this woman work at? Like, where, like, she writes an article about a pastor because he dared to just talk about like human sexuality in like a very, like, just matter of fact kind of way. Like, it wasn't like he was
I mean,
like,
I know the world was a little bit more repressed in 1997, but I don't think it was that repressed.
not no.
No.
That gives you the idea that like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm gonna offer myself and my sister.
Mhm.
So does that mean that that person already consulted their sister beforehand, which would
And
hopefully be the thing that they did, or just
and it's like,
offer?
oh, we read a fact that a priest was a little bit into having human urges, and so, oh, I guess he's the only guy in all of Metro Detroit who has urges, so we gotta
Or
go.
maybe
What the hell?
maybe it was like kind of like a hunting thing, like a
Mm.
notch on the bedpost, like have sex with the pastor is one of their,
Yeah.
you know, one of their
It,
bucket list.
it's a really weird goose chase or something, or
It
whatever,
is.
or one
It's
of
like,
those
okay,
what are those things that you do, like oh, where you go around and collect a bunch of different stuff. Oh,
scavenger hunt or
what's
like
that?
scavenger hunt or
Not
no.
not like a treasure hunt, but like a oh god, that's gonna bother me now. It's where you it's like a, sometimes you have contests or you go around and collect things, like be like, oh, we got to go get a napkin from this restaurant, and then we got to go and get this other thing, and then it's like a,
I
oh,
don't know what they call that, but
yeah, some kind of hunt or something. But yeah.
okay. So yeah, I don't know. So he turns down the orgy offer, and then that's a good band name, orgy offer.
Yeah.
That should be a next album title, orgy offer or band. No, they should be opening up for like the 80 punk band concert that we're gonna throw with like all these different band names, like orgy offer and what was it, Jeff Garland's butt crack, and
Yeah.
then
Scavenger hunt is what the thing I was
that's
thinking
why
of.
I said scavenger hunt.
Did you?
You must.
It cut out.
Oh, okay.
All I heard was hunt. I thought you said treasure
Oh,
hunt. Oh,
okay.
I'm
No,
sorry. So scavenger hunt. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Okay,
yeah.
good. You thought of it. All right. Sorry,
So yeah,
folks. That's how my brain works. Where something bothers me and I can't stop thinking about it. So
yeah. Well,
you know.
it's fine. I mean, we're talking about a bullshit show anyway. So
Yeah. So
so he turns down the threesome with. By the way, I don't think, not saying that looks are the only thing that matters, but generally speaking, if you're going to have sex with someone, I would at least hope that you would know what the person looks like beforehand, just to make sure that you're attracted to each other, not just one party to the other, but both both ways, and I don't know if
It
they have.
usually helps. It does. I mean,
I would say so.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would think so.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows? Maybe they had a picture of him in the article, so they thought maybe he looked handsome, which I'm not sure why. But that's no offense. But okay. And then so there's that. So then he's like all pissed off at her, and then he he has his son. Well, his son tries to pull this trick on his dad by saying, "Well, well, no, his dad's okay." So this part was actually kind of cool. I like so like his. I'm gonna start using this actually. This story. So
Yeah.
he like about like liars go to hell for eternity or something like that. So
Yeah.
apparently, just fire and brimstone church, which yay, we need more of that apparently. Anyway, so and then he says like, so imagine that there's like a huge boulder made of brass or something like that, and it's like, and every 2,000 years, a dove will fly by and just barely like touch like the boulder with like its wingtip, and then once that boulder, which again the dove only flies by once every 2,000 years, so once that boulder is finally ground to dust, that will only be the beginning of eternity. So
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty like bleak, but like cool at the same time. And then so his son, he tries to like play a trick on him by like, oh well, can you be my pastor instead of my dad right now? So he's like, oh okay. And then so then he confesses to breaking the Elvis gravestone
Snow globe.
snow globe, which we know is going to be replaced later on by him murdering the love interest and putting
Yes.
her in a real film. But anyway,
That's another one of my favorite bands is Gravestone Snow Globe.
yeah, yeah, this is going to be like a huge concert. It's going to be
I
like
know.
100 bands. And each band's going to play like one song because there's not enough time.
A half a song.
Yeah, half the song, then they got to just leave and then leave the instruments and shows up and just takes the guitar off the guy's neck or whatever and just plays like a few riffs. But anyway, so like he confesses to his quote pastor slash dad, and then the dad role comes back and he's like, oh, like did you have a nice conversation or whatever? And he gives him like the $10 again, 1997 money, $10 to see a movie, which that would cover a ticket like 3 times over back then. Anyway, so and then he's like, oh, by the way, because he's like, oh, so but since you're my pastor, we have like confidentiality or whatever type of thing. He's like, oh yeah, sure. And then he's like, by the way though, about the confidentiality, you're as your dad though, I was listening in the doorway and heard you talking to your pastor, so then he just makes him give the money back to him. I thought was a little bit cruel. I mean, I guess it was supposed to be funny, which everything in this episode was supposed to be funny, but none of it was. But still, like that's a bit cruel. And then
Do you want to know what the average ticket price was in 1997 for a movie?
I'm thinking like $5-6 maybe.
$4.59.
$4.59. See, I figured it was around that for like a ticket. So yeah, maybe he wanted to buy some snacks, like whatever, fine. And or I was gonna say he could hide them, but back then since he's the son of a pastor, probably sneaking in food would be like a sin, even though the real sin is how much they charge at the concession stand. But whatever. And then because that's where they make their real money. No, I don't care. And then like let fucking AMC go under, if they're gonna. By the way, I sold all my shares of AMC because I'm like, it's not going to fucking get any bigger than it is. Or who knows? Probably now it's going to jump up.
The average ticket price today is only $9.17.
Really?
Yeah, that's the average, like the nationwide average. Yeah.
Oh, nationwide. Because every time I go, it's usually at least $10.
Yeah, well, it just depends on where you go. If you're going like the thing is, it's for example, like where you live in Toledo, the Toledo area. If you're in Toledo itself, it's actually $1 more than if you go to like Maumee or Perrysburg to a theater there. For some odd reason, it's cheaper.
But with gas prices, you'd be saving money.
Yeah. But what I'm saying is that, like, if you lived closer to those theaters, you're paying less than if you lived closer to
Okay.
so like in a bigger city, it's probably going to be more expensive than it is in.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
like, especially like Troy or whatever.
Yeah.
And then so he has the older kids babysits the younger ones while he goes to the church dance. And then the journalist, which I don't even remember her name. I don't even remember his name in the show. Any of the names.
I don't off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up.
I
Let me
just
see.
call him Dan Aykroyd. That's what I'm calling him.
Yeah.
Just call him Dan Aykroyd.
Mike Weber.
Okay, that's right. Mike Weber. So then she shows up at the dance to like apologize to him, and then again, just this forced, unnatural like way they interact with each other, like way too rushed and like saying, "Oh well, maybe I did mean the things I said about being attracted to you," and she's like, "Oh, I'm shocked and confused," and he's like, "Oh, that's everything a man wants to hear from a woman." I'm like, "Oh my god, like this is so not funny." Like, oh my god, like if any, like I mean, I don't know. I'm not like the best like quote unquote player, I guess if you want to even use like 20-year-old terms, but like even I would know to like pump the brakes at a certain point of like trying not to impress a woman by acting so completely stupid.
So I shouldn't
Like,
use this as like the blueprint of how I should approach women in the future.
no, unless you want to like repulse them. Like, I mean, if that's what you want, go ahead. But
That's
like,
exactly what I want. So okay, good.
well, then, okay, yeah,
Oh,
that's
okay.
yeah. Yeah, if that's your goal, then sure.
Oh, okay, good. I was just making sure.
Dan Aykroyd's doing in this episode
Yeah.
because I'm forgetting everything.
I mean, I used to just base everything on the wild and crazy guys thing that he and Steve Martin did on Saturday Night Live. So that repulsed women too. So
yeah, well, that's understandable. Yeah,
yeah.
but yeah, I wouldn't go that route either. But and then so and then she's like, I gotta leave because she's embarrassed or whatever. I'm like, oh my god, this is like this was 20. This was only 22 minutes long, and I barely got through it the second time.
Yeah.
And it was like, I mean, we're talking like an average length, time TV show sitcom. It's usually about 21 minutes. This was like 22. Okay, fine. An extra 30.
You're a better person than me, Sesame, for getting through it a second time.
Well,
So
I don't think it's better. I think I like punishing myself. I don't. I just think I'm not worth it, so I just have to sit through like the agony, of watching this, and then so then he goes back home, and then like his younger kids are dancing outside for some reason at like 10:30 at night.
like you do.
I mean.
That was to show the fact that the oldest son wasn't paying attention to them and fell asleep when he was supposed to be watching them. So yeah.
No, I get that, but like, and I get it's the '90s, so people weren't like born with like cell phones or smartphones in their hands at that point. Pretty much like live their life through that screen. So I understand that, but like, I just don't see the likelihood of like, an impromptu dance off with like the radio blasting on at 10:30 at night.
Well, if I could count the number of times my sister and I danced in the backyard of our house at 10:30 at night.
I mean, and no one called the cops for like a noise.
Yeah, I mean that was my sister and I used to do that like never. And
apparently they did that, and no one called the cops once. That, hey, those kids out there, they're unattended and they're blaring that rap music or whatever. And then,
well, this is Detroit. The cops have other things to worry about.
True. Plus, Detroit rock. This. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? And then, so then he like dances with them for like a second.
Yeah.
About the radio. He, potentially causes life-altering injuries to his son by doing an air horn, which again. Why do people think that's funny? That's like that could severely like damage your ear.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like even like in the new She-Hulk trailer, they're doing that. I'm like, don't give kids ideas, okay? Because some idiot's gonna see that.
Yeah, somebody's gonna lose their hearing if people keep doing.
I saw this on She-Hulk and it was so funny. It was so funny. A fictional TV show where two people are green skinned
and they have superpowers, super strength powers. So yeah, everything you see there is totally realistic. It's going to happen. You fucking moron. I'm saying this like to future whoever's going to try this because they saw that anyway. And then
So I should not try that.
no. So
Oh,
then he does
okay.
that to his son.
Because I was
And
going to
then
use that to try to pick up women too.
no, don't do that. No.
Oh, okay. But
No,
it'll scare him off, right?
well, it would probably even be considered physical assault at some point, actually, because I mean,
And then I can go to
well,
jail.
no, auditory assault, I guess, and then but it could cause physical injuries. I'm not sure. I'm not a lawyer. The legal gray area of
Oh,
that,
okay.
but like,
I thought you were.
but
I'm
I would,
sorry.
I would just not do that. But and so then his son rolls off the couch in stereotypical '90s, fashion, which nobody ever does ever when they're woke like that. They just lie in state and wake up, and they're in a state of shock. They're like, "What the fuck just happened?" They don't go and
Yeah.
fall on top of the coffee table and slam their fist through the TV, and cause a house electrical fire. That doesn't happen in real life. Okay, and then he's like, again, the humor. Oh my god, the humor is just so fucking funny in the show. Like how they keep making shows after this one pilot. They should have just wrapped it up.
Oh yeah.
Comedy's done, and then he's like, "You could have given me a heart attack," and then he's like, "Oh, you can only have a heart attack through hard work." So you don't have nothing to worry about. I'm like, that's objectively not true, like
Yeah.
at all. Like what? Like, are you trying to be funny, or do you actually? Because again, this is the '90s. I don't know what doctors thought in the '90s. Was that a thing? Did they
No,
think that?
because it's pretty much guaranteed that doctors did not think that then. I mean,
I
it was,
was I was I was gonna
yeah.
hope so. I'm pretty sure that's not a thing. Like I'm pretty sure you could just like have a heart attack in your sleep. Like
Oh yeah. Many people
you know,
had at that time. So
and plus too, I think the air horn thing could call potentially at the very least.
it could cause
I'm,
it.
I'm talking too much, dude. But anyway, this
Yeah.
show sucked. It was bad. What else happens? Oh yeah, she shows up, right? Can you finish this off because I'm getting pissed off
I
here.
honestly don't remember how it ended.
All right, I'll say it then. So the journalist shows up at his house again at like 10:30 at night to apologize for a second time, but this time apologizing for her acting awkward. And then I guess this was supposed to start the will they won't they, Ross and Rachel, Sam and Diane, Annie and Jeff type of, the community reference, type of thing.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, she doesn't show up at all
No.
ever again. So my theory is that he killed her, and then because of the snow globe things, then because that was gonna lead into the sequel, Soul Man 2, or it was gonna be more like Soul Retriever, or where he thinks he's actually a demon. He's collecting souls, and then that's why he became a pastor so he could get closer to like Christians in order to do that. And then he saw that there was like purity in her soul, and he was like, "Oh, this is going to be a great catch," and that's why we never saw her again, and that's why no one suspected that he killed her because he's a pastor. Why would a pastor murder someone? They're all godly men, right? I mean, they don't do anything wrong ever, right? The Baptist Federation, the Catholic Church, and the Islamic Republic of Iran. Anyway, but like so they would never do anything bad,
Well, yeah.
like murder people or like especially Dan Aykroyd as a pastor, he wouldn't do that. But that's my theory, at least, is that they're gonna have a second show called like the Solden Retriever.
Okay.
And it's because he's retrieving souls, but and Solden because of soul, and then Golden. I don't know. Maybe he wears like a gold suit. I haven't figured out yet. I'm just making this up on the fly. But like,
you should work on this.
the Solden Retriever.
Yeah,
was
yeah.
right.
You take these little crumbs and bake them. Like the QAnon
Yeah.
people do. And
and that's it. They hold hands and they're about to kiss, but then they like, oh, we should just be friends. And they're like, really good friends. And then she gets up and walks away, or supposedly, I mean, he murders her, but like supposedly she walks away, And then he goes inside the house, and his oldest son, who's awake now after having almost permanent hearing damage from his dad. And he's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I'm gonna get some ice," because early on, when he was talking about his sexual urges to a woman he's just known for 5 minutes, as a pastor, again, that shows maybe the level of emotional intelligence he had, where, you know, nothing wrong with talking about human sexuality as a pastor, but like, you've literally known this person for 5 minutes and you're already talking about your sexual urges.
Yes.
Even as a non-pastor, I wouldn't do that to someone I had just met 5 minutes ago. Like, what? But it's okay. So we've already got a profile built about his, boundary issues. So that's a big one right there. So and he's a man of God, so he's got access to people. So we got that. He's causing permanent hearing damage to one of his children. So we got some abuse going on right there. Lots of things can be leading to him being a serial killer, is what I'm saying. So watch out for Solden Retriever, probably coming out in, like, I don't know, March 2026, after Marvel's Phase 8 is over or whatever. So not everyone's back home from seeing, like, the latest Marvel movie and 18 different TV shows all at the same time running concurrently. And you gotta make sure you gotta watch it after that, because that you don't want the times to like, you don't want like a time incursion.
Sounds like a plan here.
Yeah. We don't want like a time. I know I'm totally annoying you here.
No, you're not.
I'm just gonna keep it going, like Fred Willard would. Just keep the bit going. So, like, you don't want like a time incursion, like a Doctor Strange reference to happen, where you don't want the Solden Retriever to be played at the same time that, like, Guardians of the Galaxy Part 8 is gonna be playing or whatever, and like Chris Pratt's gonna be like 70 years old at that point or whatever. Still doing his stupid jokes like, I'm Chris Pratt. I got like a laser gun and a stupid mask, and I make funny little jokes in my spaceship, and I'm looking for my green girlfriend here, and and Rocket's not really a raccoon, but we still call him a raccoon because it's funny. You get it? And we got the knife guy who takes everything literally, and like, maybe he's autistic, and that's like, we're trying to do like representation with that or whatever. And then so you gotta make sure that that's not playing at the same time as the Solden Retriever is, because we need to know what happened to the Detroit journalist who just left. I don't think she just left. I think he killed her. I think he felt so embarrassed about the article that she wrote about him, and now everyone at his church is like thinking like, oh, he was the pastor. He was talking about his sexual urges, and because like that's a total natural thing to happen in human society for the past like 10 billion years. But like, since he's religious, he's not allowed to talk about that or even have those feelings, because he's not supposed to be a human being.
So
he's supposed to be a creation of God himself.
So did you want to hear some reviews?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, go ahead.
So here's some user reviews from the Internet Movie Database for this lovely sitcom. There's only 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. The headline for this one is "Yet Another Show That Deserved Better." And this was written by Hair Sandwich.
Oh, gross.
I know. On May 26th of 2000. Just like On Our Own, this was a show that made a somewhat taboo subject not so awkward. The whole concept of a preacher being portrayed as a cool guy was interesting, and it really presented another side of Christianity than the Bible-thumping, discriminating stereotype. Dan Aykroyd was ideal for the part, and the whole deal with him being widowed and trying to raise his kids alone really gave the series a sense of realism. It's too bad that all most viewers saw was that he was a preacher, and thus the show couldn't be entertaining or have a positive message. I'm pretty sure that's probably not why it...
Yeah.
If it was funny, it wouldn't matter what his character was.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's another one that is a 0 out of 10 stars. This is from Chester Gray on January 23rd of 2003. One word: garbage. I am a certifiable sitcom junkie. and I have watched at least one episode of nearly every show ever broadcast on North American television.
Whoa.
With the one episode of the show I watched, it was hard for me to keep from vomiting. The show was a waste of a great actor's talent and put a blemish on the face of religion. Not farce, face of religion. I hope that whoever thought up this tripe was fired and banned from writing. Chester's rating, 0 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean that's my rating would be that too, pretty much. I think.
Yeah. So
I'm not even gonna give it a gracious 1 out of 10. Like no, 0 out of 10 for me.
So I found a review written at the time from Variety.
Okay.
I'm going to read a little excerpt from it, just because I found it interesting. It says, new comedy starring Dan Aykroyd already looks like a hit given first week ratings that actually built on its lead-in, a Home Improvement original, and garnered a 24 share. Yet while it does manage to pin its focus on a priest who lusts after something besides altar boys,
Whoa.
Soul Man plays its premise with a distinct lack of soul. Safe and indistinct, the sitcom uses stereotypes and stock characters to mind its undersized laugh quotient. The whole enterprise carries an air of improbability, beginning with the use of Aykroyd as a gulp man of cloth. Aykroyd appears to be portraying a Saturday Night Live parody rather than a real human as Reverend Mike Weber, a single father that's no misprint, and a widower with a purportedly checkered past living in Detroit. Anyways, let me see what else I was going to show.
Wow.
So he said, okay, anyways, he says purportedly checkered past living in Detroit. It bumpers what we see him we see him riding a motorcycle and flashing a leather jacket. The Reverend, since the death of his wife 3 years before, Reverend Mike has been forced to care for 4 kids on his own, and somehow does it without any nanny or housekeeping help. God evidently does childcare these days. Yeah.
Wow.
So they didn't like it.
No, and plus too, they got it wrong. Like talking about a priest and altar boys. Well, wait a minute, priests can't get married, so
Yeah,
he's not.
Well, he's a priest, but not a Catholic priest.
Yeah, but they don't.
Yeah,
And
my favorite quote from later on in the thing though is he talks about Deacon Matthews' character, the bishop. He says, Deacon Matthews also appears from time to time as a fellow priest who adds the occasional wisecrack, but he looks bored.
Well, yeah, why wouldn't he? I mean,
yeah. He said he's not the only one. It's hard to fathom just why the vastly talented Aykroyd would agree to center such a trite mundane agree to center in such a trite and mundane show, and one given only a 3-episode guarantee, because that's all I got for the first season.
Well, because money.
Yeah.
Because the last successful thing that Aykroyd was in before that was probably 10 years.
Oh yeah.
Maybe even. I mean, the sad thing about
and this was written by
Aykroyd,
Ray Richmond for Variety, just giving him credit. So there we
the
go.
sad thing about Dan Aykroyd is that his career was kind of short-lived. I mean, he did a lot within that, and then he just stopped. I don't know if he just felt like it.
Oh no, he's a millionaire now, selling his vodka and stuff. So he's.
Well, no, I figured he's a millionaire just from.
Yeah. Because he sells that vodka and Skull bottles and stuff. Dan Aykroyd does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and makes a lot of money off of that. So.
Yeah.
Vodka or whiskey or whatever it is. I think it's vodka. I don't know. I don't drink, so I don't know what the shit is. But
yeah,
probably whiskey. I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, but he did have that show for a while though, where he was talking about aliens and stuff. And
yeah.
it was kind of And because I guess he's a big believer like in UFOs, which is pretty interesting.
And he made money off of any Ghostbusters stuff because he created the Ghostbusters, co-created them. So.
Right.
Yeah.
I just mean that like he kind of fizzled out, like kind of like Rick
Yeah.
Moranis as well. Like they were huge for a while, and then
Rick retired from acting, so
okay,
because his wife died and he wanted to raise his kid, so.
No, I get that, but even like before he quote retired, like he still wasn't doing like a whole lot. Is what I'm saying. Like it wasn't like
his last. I think his last movie was Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves. Rick Moranis. So yeah.
Actually, that's a good one though. Honey, We Shrunk Ourselves. That's the one that had Allison Mack, before she became cult
leader. Yeah.
Anyway, which is weird because her character arc in that movie was all about consent and stuff like that. Because we tried to kiss her without asking permission. Again, 1997, kind of ahead of its time, to have those conversations, especially like in a Disney movie. But hey, give credit for what's credit due. It's unfortunately that she didn't learn anything from that lesson.
Oh no.
And
but anyways, any final thoughts here before we wrap things up?
Other than just that, my brain is completely like ADHD mode right now, and I'm just like,
no, that's fine.
Just rambling on like the most random. I had to make this episode funny because the show was so bad.
Yes.
That it was like I felt like I would be doing our listeners a disservice by just like blandly replaying what the show was, which was just bland and terrible and just bad. I don't know.
But anyways,
anyway.
It's okay. It's no longer on the air, so we can be okay.
Yeah, I appreciate you listening to my sermon, if you will.
Yes, your Sesame sermon.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, folks, go to all2real2.com. Check out all of our stuff there.
Our merch. Buy our merch.
Yeah, we got
Do it.
Links to merch. We got you can get that on TeePublic. You can also get you can help us out on Patreon. Share the show with your friends. Give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcast or anywhere else you can. That's
5-star men. Okay? Yeah, just like Death Reynolds. We're 5-star men. Don't hurt our egos. Okay,
yes,
we're 5-star men. And donate to our Patreon. Do it.
Yes.
Do it right now.
And tell your friends. Tell your friends. That's really important.
Tell your friends. But before you tell your friends, donate to our Patreon. Pause the episode right now. You got to act right now because I'm like a infomercial salesman right now.
And there's more. Wait, there's more.
There's more. I don't know yet.
The more is that if you support our show, we'll keep doing the show.
And we'll keep doing it, or maybe we'll even do more episodes per week. Or maybe we'll do an episode that you choose, even if we hate it.
Yes.
That could be a thing right there too. Because then you'll be like forcing us to sit through something that we already do that anyway, pretty much every week. But
I was gonna say that's kind of what we do.
But it's different when someone else is making you do it,
Yeah,
so it's like
true.
they have the power, and then so like we have to watch like I don't know like Almighty Thor Part 2 or something like that, or whatever, and like in Japanese so that we don't even understand, so we have to like basically try to piece together what we think the movie's about. That'd be another cool thing too, right there. We can start watching. All right, ADHD mind. I got to stop. But like
so. So as my ADHD kicks in. Oh wait, there's a squirrel. Anyway, so what were we talking about? So next time, folks, we'll be here. We'll make you laugh. We'll make you cry. No, we won't. But maybe something in between. But until next time, folks, be good. I love you. And bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.